There are seats on this side or in the back further, if you like. Adonai Amadon Vatedohehu Venenosh Vatrashbehu Adam Lahevel Damayam of Katzel Over Baboker Yatzitz Vechalof Lo Erev Yemolel Veyavesh Tasheveno Shadaka Vatomer Shuvu Bnei Adom Lo Hochmu Yaski Lozot Yavinu Lacharisom. O Lord, what are we that thou takest knowledge of us, or that thou makest account of us? We are like unto a vanity. Our days are as shadows that pass away. In the morning we flourish, we grow up. In the evening we are cut down. Thou turnest us to contrition and sayest, Return, O children of men. O that we were wise and would consider our latter end, for when one dieth, they shall carry nothing away, their glory shall not descend after them. Mark the perfect one, and behold the upright. The end of that one is peace. The Lord redeemeth the souls of his servants, and none who trust in him shall be forsaken. My dear friends, our hearts are deeply saddened today by the untimely loss of a lady who graced your lives and my life as well, with all the beauties and the splendors that she possessed in such abundance, and it only makes it more difficult to say farewell to someone when they are taken from us much too early, and in addition to that, having contributed so much to so many people to make their lives far better. And of course, we talk about the lovely Myrna Davidson. And I would like to begin by reading a letter that I was asked to read by Lori, her daughter, and it will be self-explanatory, and following that, we will be addressed by members of the family whom I shall call. My mother wrote me a letter and gave it to her dear friend Linda and told her to give it to me upon her passing. She wrote something very special that I want to share with all of you. And now I quote the letter. I have the most love and pride for all of you. You must continue your lives and always do the best you can. Lori and Sam, keep close to Norman and my sisters. I hope you do not have to read this letter for another 30 years. But just in case, I want you to know how much I love you all. Lori, watch my grandchildren and tell them how much I love them. They are the most important thing in your lives. Do a good job, and you will reap great rewards from them, as I have from you, Lori. Love you always, Mom. And this, of course, is such a deeply felt message, and it's just a pity that she wasn't given those extra 30 years or even 25 or whatever it is. It's never a right time to die. But we will now be addressed by people who loved her, who respected her, who honored her, and to whom she gave the fullness of her heart, without stinting, always with the highest regard for their safety, for their care, and to give them all the love that she possessed. The first address will be by Andrea.
Dearest Myrna, beloved friend, beautiful lady, the places we've gone and the things we've done, we've shared the world and also our lives. Thank you for being my friend. I am me because of you. A good friendship depends on two things: finding the right person and being the right person. So there's the match. We didn't meet in our childhood years or in our early adult years. We met through a friend during your dating game, and as you can see, everyone won. Through the years, we grew very close, and I could see the many facets of Myrna. First, as a friend, she was always there when I needed her, even if I didn't know that I needed her. Myrna always had wise and neutral advice. Her best advice was usually, zip it up. We were the fabulous four, our great adventures on the roads of the world, from frogs' legs in France to finding Manny spaghetti on a Sunday in Paris when everything was closed. Our wine tasting tour with the expert opinions given by Manny and me. Manny, do you remember running out of gas in Germany and running for the gas station before it closed? And most exciting of all, Manny, your big birthday celebration with 5,000 people toasting you with beer. Dear Manola, Myrna counted everything that passed your lips. Your wellness and happiness was so important to her. I know these last few years have really been hard for you, but you were always there for her. Her rock, her diamond, her shining knight, just being there and holding her hand. You were her honey, and she will always be your honey. Dee Dee, what a wise, warm, and special daughter. You kept the situation in New York under control at all times. Your love and confidence helped her fight for her life. She knew you would always be available. Her greatest gift from you and Alan was becoming a nana. We sat with M&M waiting for Jessica to arrive, and we also shared the coming of Kelsey. You know, it got tiresome listening to her brag about those special young ladies over and over. But she was right. I remember when Jessie was our first Olympic star coming in her baby carriage. Norman, Pam, your wedding was the last function she was able to attend, and the pride she felt gave her the energy to go. Norman, Myrna was so happy you found the girl of both of your dreams. Billy, you know it broke her heart to miss your vows with Joanne, but her thoughts were with you on that day, and I told her every detail of the glorious occasion. Lori, do you know how much you helped your mom? You told her it was okay to go. You gave her permission. You said, I'm okay. I'll be all right with what you've shown me, and you'll never be gone from me. Lori, you shared some tough times with your mom. She was there for you, and in the end you were there for her. No mother could ask for more, but you gave her more. A truly devoted son like Sam is very hard to find. And her two little friends, Chloe and Blake. And as Blake said, Nanny will never be gone. I can always talk to her in my imagination. And Tessie, to lose a child is the hardest of all. Just keep a book of the memories of the day you spent together each week with Myrna. It was Tessie's day, either shopping or schlepping or doing lunch. That was a very special day for your daughter, and I was lucky to have joined in some of them. Adele and Joy How I envied Myrna. Not one, but two sisters. Two sisters to grow up with, to laugh with, and to cry with, to share the bright as well as the dark, and for just being there for each other. Myrna, I'll always remember that you've given me rainbows, and my wish is to give you the stars. I looked up in the sky on Thursday night, and there was one truly bright star. And Myrna, I know it was you looking out for all of us as always.
Thank you so much for those lovely insights into this wonderful relationship. And now it is my privilege to call upon Laurie and Norma. Laurie and Norman. Didn't want to change his sex, he just got married. Please.
Thank you. We stand before you today to honor the most courageous and strong-willed woman that any of us have ever known. My mom's battle over the last 2 years was not one fought on a field, but instead fought within. Mom fought a disease that should have taken her a long time, but instead stood against it every day, not giving up, continuing to try anything the doctors recommended in order to keep her living a little longer. She never gave up. We were with her every single day until the end, my sister and Sam, Pam and myself, and her devoted husband, Manny. Not to mention all the rest of our family who made trips from New York to be with a mother, a sister, and an aunt. Myrna was always there for anyone who needed her, and in her time of need, nobody let her down. She was a best friend to many and a pillar of strength and love for her family. She held us together, always, having the last word with her famous last line, "End of discussion." You knew what that meant. Mom had made the decision, and that was the law. She loved being around her grandchildren and would give herself to them as a nanny should. Each one has a special place in her heart, and in turn, their heart forever. She was adored by many close friends and had special relationships with them all. We loved her for being who she was and how she brought joy, warmth, and happiness to whoever she touched. Finally, having no pain or suffering, she is holding hands with all of her loved ones, watching over us today, and smiling, knowing that life goes on. Her spirit and love will be inside of us all. Her memory will be passed down to future generations, to our family. We love and miss you, Mom.
Thank you, Norman and Laurie, for these beautiful thoughts, so sincere. We ask Dee Dee to please join us.
Okay. Almost 19 years ago, my dad brought home a beautiful lady. She had a warm smile, and we liked her, and it seemed like the beginning of something good. There were a few times when I thought my dad might blow it, but she stuck with him. Since then, we have shared so many happy times. Weekends in the Hamptons, a little too close for comfort. Candle lighting sessions that Dad facilitated after carefully choosing the evening topic. We laughed and sometimes cried, but they were unforgettable and wonderful times. We shared great times in Florida, at the beach, not that Nanny would swim, and at their beautiful house, everyone just enjoying being together. It was always great to hear our parents tell us about the movies they'd seen and the places they'd been. The best part was that they had totally different memories of the same event. We would laugh, Nanny would roll her eyes, and Poppy would act as if his recollection was the correct one. Myrna was my mother for my whole adult life. She helped me become a better wife, a better mother, and a better friend. She taught me what's important in life. Number one, family. And boy, did she come with a lot of that. Because of Nanny, my children, Alan and I, have aunts and uncles and cousins and Nana Tessie to share our lives with. Another priority was friends. Myrna has friends who love her and would do anything for her. People she traveled with and worked with, celebrated with, and shared problems with. Myrna was so sweet. She liked to keep things peaceful. And believe me, that was not always easy around those of us who still like a good argument. So, after all of these years, I can tell you that we were all lucky to have Myrna as a parent or a friend, a nanny or a sister, a daughter or a wife. Jessica and Kelsey, Corey and Blake had the best nanny who loved them and cherished them and will always watch over them. My father has been the luckiest man in the world because he was her king and she was his queen. Now she's my hero and she'll be in my heart forever.
Thank you, Dee Dee. Linda, please. Very close to the mic.
Dear Myrna, how can I speak at this ceremony without you, my dear friend and speechwriter, to write the words for me? You, so close to me we could almost be sisters, who had that incredible gift of inflicting humor into everything you said. How we sat for 17 years, laughing and crying over all the things that happened in our lives. When you first walked into our office to become our bookkeeper, little did we know that the most remarkable woman was entering our life. You said you worked at Fortunoff's, and Paul said, "From Fortunoff's, you're coming to Premier?" How lucky we were. Besides having the greatest sense of humor, you worked those books like a pro, and we really depended on you. Myrnsey, you were so special, a Hamisha Mensch. You had so much love for your family. Every Monday, you and Tessie, your mom, would go out together, shopping and schlepping, as Andrea said. I remember you saying that you would never give up those Mondays for anything. You really loved Tessie. You were a very good daughter. To your sisters Adele and Joy, you were their rock, their incredible, funny, strong sister who nothing was too much for. To all your nieces and nephews, you were an inspiration, so thoughtful and caring, someone they could always count on. And Myrna, I never saw a relationship like the one you had with Lori. The phone in our office was always going. You and Lori chatting away. Whether you were discussing family matters or not, you were never at a loss for words. The love between you was a treasure and will always be that way. And Sam, you know, no words can describe the love and respect you had for each other. We cannot talk about love and joy without mentioning Corey and Blake, because they only added to Myrna's life, and I know how much she wanted to be there to see them grow up, and I truly believe she will. Norman, another treasure, was there for Myrna all the time. Thank God she lived to see you marry Pam, and I know how much that meant to her and to you. And Billy and Joanne and Dee Dee and Alan were also part of her wonderful family, and she loved them so much. And Jessie and Kelsey, you brought great joy to her, and I know how proud she was of you and how smart she always bragged to me, my grandchildren, until I finally told her to shut up, I have my own. And Manny, you were blessed to have her. You're right, you were the king. Whether you were dremeling in your chair or taking her on one of those famous trips. The two of you had many happy lives, many happy years together, and you made each other very, very happy. Myrna, you fought your illness with such courage. Everyone you touched was inspired by you. You never complained. A true woman of valor, and everyone is heartbroken, and you will live on forever in our hearts, my dear friend. Rest in peace. I love you.
Sam.
I've had the good fortune of spending precious time with Mom over the past 8 months. During one of our many intimate conversations recently, I asked her how she would describe herself in one word. She thought for a moment and said, simple. Well, I told her that I thought compassionate, loving, warm, and kind better described her. She modestly reiterated, no, simple. Mom took great pride in her family. Over the last 11 years, I was blessed with a special relationship with Mom, one which was built on love, honesty, trust, and availability. The word son-in-law was not in her heart, nor was the word mother-in-law in mine. She accepted me as her son, and I enjoyed and accepted the obligations of that role. I will always cherish those sentiments. Lori and Mom's relationship is almost impossible to describe in words. Mom was her mentor, her confidant, her compatriot, her disciplinarian, well, sometimes. They were simply best friends. They laughed together and cried together. They felt each other's pains and enjoyed each other's pleasures. There was a solace and a strength they found in each other. Once Corey and Blake came into this world, her life seemed to take on new meaning. She was destined to ensure that all time with her babies would be quality time. Nanny truly loved her grandchildren, all of them. Her singing songs to them, hugging and kissing them, and them hugging and kissing her, are memories for us etched in stone forever. You see, for Mom, life was to be cherished every minute, every day. Unconditional love is what we all received, an emotion unavailable to most, apparently effortless for her. She had no requirements of others, only a need to give with a free hand. On Wednesday, Lori and I looked at Mom and told her how much we loved her. She opened her eyes, smiled, and said, "I'll love you forever."
Thank you, Sam. And Alan?
Over time, you became so special to me. Over time, I learned how wonderful you can be. But I'm gonna miss you. My girls are gonna miss you. Over time. Over Overtime, you were there when we needed you. Overtime, we could count on you to know just what to do. Now I'm gonna miss you. We're all gonna miss you. Overtime. Overtime, we'll all start to feel a bit better. Overtime, if we all stay close together. But I'm gonna miss you. I'm so glad I got to hug and kiss you. Overtime.
Any words that I would try to add would be superfluous in light of all the beautiful things that we have heard. And I think one of the important aspects of conducting funerals is that it makes us think about what a person meant to us. And we come not only to listen to what wonderful people they were, and in this case we don't have to embellish, she was wonderful, but it makes us look into ourselves and see that we have been highly enriched by a Myrna Davidson, who touched your lives, gave to every one of you every ounce of energy and beauty that she possessed. She was such a talented person. She was an artist in living. And she knew how to relate to people, whether it was family, whether it was friends, whether it was business, whatever it was, she was able to handle it and do it well without compromising any ideals. And she was a feisty lady, as we heard. She spoke her mind and let you know where she stood. And I think that every single person who has come here today, and there are so many of you, and that's a marvelous tribute, and I know the family certainly honors you and thanks you for this. Every one of you is enriched. We're all better people. Judaism simply asks of an individual that when they leave this world, it be in somewhat better shape than when they entered. This world is a far better place because a beautiful lady named Myrna Davidson walked in it with such quality, with such desire to improve the human condition. And she did it in the finest way possible, by being the finest mother, the finest wife, and the finest grandmother, and the finest sister, and the finest daughter that anyone could ever be. And she left this mark indelibly impressed upon all of you. You will remember words that she said as these people who addressed us brought to us, and a smile will come across your face. I think it's wonderful that we can sit here today and still have warm, smiling thoughts about this lady. You'll always have them. As I mentioned earlier, she was taken from us much too soon. There was so much living to be done, so much beauty to be shared with her loved ones, and so much giving from such a giving person. But this is not the time to embitter ourselves. These things occur. This is not a God that took her from us. This is nature. We haven't conquered this horrible illness that took her away from us. One day they will, but we have to deal with it as we can. But just know that you were given the years that she had, and she utilized them so beautifully and so sharingly with this group of people. And I know, Manny, you said these were the best 18 years of your life. It was very beautiful. It's too short, but it was beautiful, and you made the most of it at her side. And you traveled, you saw things, and it wasn't only to be able to say, oh, we went here, we went there. You enjoyed what you saw. And you came back with wonderful memories that you could relate to the family and to the dear ones, and how both of you adored this family. And it was an amalgamation of many people in several families, and this had to be dealt with too, and it was dealt with very, very well, because there are different backgrounds, different personalities, and yet you all bound yourselves together. You appreciated each other, you respected each other, you gave to each other the warmth of your hearts, but most of all, you saw in this lady the one who stood above and was ready to give you her heart and soul in every step of the way. If there were challenges to be met, and there always are in a family, she was firm. She stood her ground. She assisted, never shirked her duties. And if there was rejoicing, she went to that last wedding. She had to be with Norman and Pam, and she made it. This was a lady of bravery, of warmth, of true humanity. We have learned many, many things. The young people, the grandchildren whom she adored beyond anything else in this life, and what else are grandchildren for except for grandparents to love them beyond anything else? They will be told of her and shown pictures, and she just embraced everybody. She knew how to do this. There wasn't an evil bone in her body, simply a lady who wanted everybody to live as comfortably as they can. I have always held in my mind this thought: I wish everybody in this life had $1 million. Everybody. Let's all be comfortable. Let's all be happy. This is what she wanted. And millions of dollars doesn't make you always happy. It just makes it a little bit more comfortable. But the way she lived her life made everybody who encountered her more comfortable. This will not be forgotten. And as you walk through life, you can hold your heads high, family, friends, all of you, and be able to say, Myrna Davidson brought me her loveliness. I am grateful for that. This was a beautiful, poetic soul. May God in his goodness keep her forever in peace, in eternity, and may all of us walk this earth in a manner that will always reflect honor upon all the time that we spent with her. Amen. The interment will take place at Beth Moses Cemetery, and there will be a procession leaving from the chapel parking lot. And after that, the family will receive visitors at the home at 696 Hungry Harbor Road, and that will continue for the 7 days of the Shiva. And after Wednesday in Florida, or on Wednesday in Florida, from Wednesday and Thursday in Florida, at the home of Sam and Lori, Norman and Pam. And you are welcome if you have to find the address. If that is where you live, you reside, you may get that address from them if you need it. And I just wish that all of us had the capacity to enjoy life the way she did, and to bring beauty into everything that she accomplished. She did this wonderfully. Let's be grateful for the years that were hers and became ours. And now I offer the prayer of remembrance, binding us with these beautiful souls who have walked with us. Please rise.
אל מול רחמים שוכן במרומים המסה מנוחה נכונה תחת כנפי השכינה, עם גדושים ותקורים כזוהר הרקיע מסעירים לנשמת יקירנו שלחו לעולמים, מועל ורחמים יסתירם בססר כנפיו לעולמים, ויצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתם, וינוחו בשלום על משכבם, ונאמר Amen.
O God, full of compassion, grant perfect rest unto the lovely soul of Myrna Davidson, who has gone unto eternity. Lord of mercy, keep her ever under the cover of thy wings, and may this soul of wonder, of beauty, of splendor, of humor, of all the gifts that anyone could ever want, now rest in the quiet of eternity, forever in our hearts.